ओम सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्थं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो Ramakrishna te namaha. We are studying here Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master, second part, as the spiritual aspirant or struggler, as sadhak, and we are in the chapter heading Sadhana and Divine Inebriation. The chapter number is 7. 7th chapter, Sadhana and Divine Inebriation. And the context is that he already has the absolute experience of both Nirguna and Sagun Brahman, the absolute reality, and also in the personalized form of Kali, the mother who grants boons of Abhaya and Var, fearlessness and special boons. That is what she gives. And that also he had seen. And as he is God, so that has come. But actually, after that, he felt a keen desire to have that vision continuously. And the Vakulata was so tremendous that he used to rub his mouth on the ground, weeping. And people around thought that he might be having colic pain. And in their talks and all that entered in his mind, but it was like a shadow world to him. And now, how that is the in our life, in sadhak's life, this absolute experience is not going to come at this point. That Saradananda Swami has already pointed out. But the eagerness due to which it came, the eagerness, the yearning which was 10% or more, is not with us. But if there is some eagerness in our practice, then we are led to the next layer of consciousness. And that Saradananda Swami will describe, as Thakur himself will tell, that is called Raganuga Bhakti. That means bhakti which follows love, attachment to God. So that stage, in Thakur's case, what we shall see, the utmost intensity of that stage. But as a lesson that stands for all of us. And we are reading now the details of it. So, para 4, the difference between the previous worship, vision, etc. of the master and those of this time. So, comparatively, he will describe now to tell us what changes have occurred in that. Previously, on some occasions at the time of worship and meditation, the master used to see a hand of the Divine Mother or a foot, bright and delicate, or her sweet, affectionate and smiling face, supremely beautiful. So that was the previous state. He wanted the vision, but not that he was not seeing anything. He was visualizing and he could see this hand or foot or that means sometimes hand, sometimes foot. Foot was bright and delicate and sweet, affectionate, smiling face. Or so one of these supremely beautiful, that is that face. Now he saw, even at times other than those of worship and meditation, that means first at the time of worship and meditation, and then at all other times, the full figure of the effulgent mother, effulgent, Jyotirmaya Ma, full figure, smiling and speaking, guiding and accompanying him and saying, do this, don't do that. So that is the symptom of Raganuga Bhakti, as well as that the external guru is not needed at that time. The Ishta itself has become the guru. It is guiding this guideless, childlike master. So do this, do not do this, and always effulgent, smiling and speaking, guiding and accompanying him. So that can be expected by the sadhak also. It has to come in sadhak's life also. Formerly, when he offered cooked food, etc., to the mother, he used to see an extraordinary ray of light coming out, beaming from her eyes, touching all the offered articles, taking their essential part, sushma, and withdrawing itself again into her eyes. That is to say, offered food, so vision itself is eating. From the eyes, rays have come, touched, taken the sukshma part and gone back to the eyes. That was formerly. So during puja, it had already become a living puja. But now what is the change? Now he saw that even before the offering was made, the same mother in her very person, not only eyes and beams, sat down to take the offering, illumining the temple with the effulgence of her holy presence. So from that image, mother herself is sitting to take food where it is offered. And the beauty and the luminosity of her is filling the whole temple. So these are the steps which sadhak can expect if he is yearning and is proceeding. One day Hriday came suddenly at the time of the worship and saw that the master had taken in his hands an arghya consisting of China roses, that is Japakusam, Jaswandi, and bilwa leaves, which he was going to offer at the lotus feet of the Divine Mother. He was absorbed in thinking of her when he cried out, suddenly saying, wait, wait, let me utter the mantra first and then thou mayest take it. So, because she is living and he has to offer food, but she wants to eat. So the whole sequence becomes disturbed outside. He then offered the food ritually before finishing the worship. So other parts of worship are yet to come. But he did the offering first because she wants to eat. So visualize these things, how living, dynamic, effulgent, blissful it must have been. Previously, at the time of worship and meditation, he saw that there appeared a wonderful living presence in the stone image before him. So in the image, some living presence was there, and yet he was hankering to see the full vision. Now he did not see that image at all when he entered the temple. So he is crying and shouting at other times. But when he enters the temple, the image is not there. Living mother is there. Now this sheds a tremendous light on the so-called Murti Puja of the Hindu religion. So many people are discussing hundreds of things, humbug, in the whole world. Why the Hindus worship Murti? Does it eat? Does it show? Does it smell? Like that, foolish questions are being asked. Even after, in this age, in the age of Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda, where Sri Ramakrishna has demonstrated all these things happen. The living mother herself, all consciousness, that is no stone and all that there. And with hands that offered boons and freedom from fear. The master said, I put the palm of my hand near her nostril and felt that mother was actually breathing. So all the symptoms of prana are there. I observed very closely, but I could never see the shadow of the mother's divine person on the temple wall. If that image is made of stone, then the shadow will be there on the temple wall. But that has vanished because there is no image. That is the conscious living. If the conscious person is there, then even the shadow will come. But if the consciousness itself is there, no physical thing, then shadow will not come. I observed very closely, but I could never see the shadow of the mother's divine person on the temple wall in the light of the lamp at night. I heard from my room, so not at the time of worship now. From his room he heard something. I heard from my room, mother, very like a little girl, going upstairs, her anklets making jingling sounds. What more you want? Living, because she is living in the temple. No, like a girl, she wants to go to the terrace. I came out to verify and found that she, with her hair disheveled, was actually standing on the veranda of the first floor of the temple and was viewing Calcutta, now the Ganga. So either this side and Calcutta, that's it. South side. What Rida said about the master's worship, meditation, etc. at this time. Now this is master's experience. Now it is not imagination. The other people will not have that experience, but they will see the change, and that we shall see from Hridaya now. So Saradananda Swamiji has wonderfully Thakur's experience, objectively how it is seen. Like that, throughout he describes. One now felt, said Hridaya, awestruck when one entered the Kali temple, even when the master was not there. That means due to that puja and Thakur's experience, the mandir's atmosphere itself had changed. Let alone when he was. That means when he was, then still more congealed. Yet I could not give up the temptation of seeing how the master behaved during the time of worship. Yet means the whole thing was awe, too much respect, fear out of respect. But I wanted to see. What I saw when I suddenly came there on many occasions filled my heart with awe and devotion. But doubt arose when I came out because influence of the master is in the temple. When he comes out, his experience changes. I thought, has uncle really gone mad? Because all the actions were not like that of a normal man. But when he sees them more than real. And when he is at a distance, his mind has come down. So he thinks it is madness. Otherwise, why does he do such forbidden acts at the time of worship? That means before offering, he is giving food and all that. I felt apprehensive about that, what the Rani and Mathur Babu would think. So that is the worldly thinking, what the owners will think. And if they think what they will do. And say, Mathur Babu would think and say when they came to know of it. But such thoughts never crossed Uncle's mind. He is not doing for others. Though they appointed him and accepted, that has gone now. In sadhana, all that has gone. But such thoughts never crossed Uncle's mind, nor did he give ear to what I told him of them. If Hridaya tells him, you don't do like this, they will feel he is not giving ear to that because experience is more real than experience of the outside world. Again, I could not venture now to speak to him much because he is a different person now. An indescribable fear and hesitation came because the level is so much different and pressed my mouth. That means could not speak. I knew not why. Pressed my mouth, I need not know why. That means the cause and effect is not understood, but the difference of consciousness is there. I felt an indefinable distance between him and me. So distance is not physical. The levels of spiritual awakening is different. For some unknown reason, he does not know the reason. Having no other alternative left, I served him silently as far as I could. So that is what he could do and that is what was required and that has happened. But I felt apprehensive lest he should cause a scene someday. Scene, something strange he will do and people will see or like that. Hridaya gave us the following account of the master's actions. This is the bhava, this is the idea in Hridaya's mind. But what were the actions due to which this happened? Hridaya gave us the following account of the master's actions, which when he entered the temple suddenly at the time of worship, filled his heart at once with awe, fear, and devotion. Fear also is a sort of fear, but then fear also, and devotion. He said, I saw uncle prepare an arga consisting of China roses and bilwa leaves, touch his head, his bosom, all his limbs, and even his own feet with it, and at last offer it at the lotus feet of the Mother of the Universe. So it appears as Pratishiddha. But you have to first feel, the Shastras tell us, divinity in you, and then you worship. But that is actually happening in Thakur's life. I saw his bosom and eyes always reddish, like those of a drunkard. Inside, the blood goes upwards, and that is what happens to the drunkard. And this happens due to spiritual evolution. Reeling in that condition, so this is also like a drunkard. He left the worshipper's seat and ascending the altar, caressed the Divine Mother by affectionately touching her chin and began singing. She is mother for him, so he is touching the chin, began singing, laughing, joking, and conversing with her. That is the living presence and child and mother. Or sometimes he caught hold of her hands and danced. Now, in other people's eyes, this will be madness, this will be doing something pratishiddha. I saw that he, while offering cooked food, etc., to the Divine Mother, got up suddenly, took in his hand a morsel of rice and curry from the plate, touched the Divine Mother's mouth with it, and said, Mother, eat it, do eat it. Do eat it, Mother. Afterwards, perhaps he said, Dost thou ask me to take it? Wilt thou take it afterwards? So, Mother is telling the child, you take first. Very well, I am taking it now. Saying this, he took a part of it himself and putting the rest to her mouth again. So, Uchishta, given to God, and putting the rest to her mouth again said, I have taken it, thyself eat it now. So, this is the living experiences, what people think of it. One day I found that at the time of the food offering, the master saw a cat enter the temple mewing. He fed it with the food that was to be offered to the Divine Mother, saying, Wilt thou take it, Mother? So, Mother's presence is not only in the image, but in everything, in the cat also. So, the experience is expanding. I saw him on some occasions at night put the mother to bed and himself lie on her silver bedstead for some time, saying, Dost thou ask me to lie down? All right, I am doing so. So he's seeing, mother is telling him, You are my child, you sleep with me. And he sleeps for some time. I saw again that he sat to worship and became so much absorbed in meditation that he had not the slightest consciousness of the external world for a long time. Uncle rose from his bed very early in the morning and collected flowers in order to make garlands for Mother Kali. At that time, too, it seemed to me that there was someone there whom he caressed and with whom he spoke, laughed, joked, and made merry, and played the importunate child. So, child and mother everywhere. I saw further that uncle had not a wink of sleep at night. Gone. Whenever I awoke, I found that overwhelmed with spiritual feelings, he was speaking or singing or sometimes went to the Panchavati and was merged in meditation. So always filled with God, the presence of God. In the Gita says, Maite teshu chapyaham. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya, Maite teshu chapyaham. They see that they are living in me and I am living in them. That is what is happening to Thakur. A discussion by the cashier and other officers of the temple on the master's love is love-inspired worship. They sent word to Mathur Babu. So how much time Hriday can hide it? When it is happening daily, continuously, others will notice it. And cashier was the like manager in charge of he was the headmost officer of that temple, Khajanji. Hriday has to say that although he was apprehensive regarding the master's behavior, he could not express his apprehension to anybody for purposes of consultation. For that man might pass it on to the high officers of the temple and they might do harm to his uncle by poisoning the ears of the proprietor. So, normal worldly things. But how could things be suppressed when every day, nay, every moment, such queer events were taking place? Some worshippers who came to the Kali temple, now it is Devo Bhutva Devam Yajayati, is God himself and worshipping God. At the time of worship, saw everything with their own eyes, some worshippers, and complained to the cashier and other officers. The latter heard it, came to the Kali temple and saw it all. But when they saw Sri Ramakrishna excited, formidable visage, as often possessed by power, his unhesitating behavior and his fearlessness and absent-mindedness from the world, no? They shrank with an indefinable fear from mentioning anything to him or from forbidding him to do what he was doing. So they could not directly speak to him. They also felt that distance and fear. They could neither tell him, don't do like that. They could not talk to him. They consulted one another when they returned to the office of the temple. They concluded that the Bhattacharya, the Pujari is called Bhattacharya. They concluded that the Bhattacharya had gone mad or was possessed by a ghost. Then he can do such things. No one could otherwise behave in such an unscriptural way. They know the Shastras of Karma Kanda, and this has gone beyond through the Raganika Bhakti. Unscriptural way at the time of worship, in any case, the worship of the food offering and other services of the goddess were, as a matter of fact, not being performed. So that is their conclusion. The Bhattacharya has spoiled everything. They could not but send word to the proprietor. So they will be taken to task, why you did not report. So they had to and reported to the proprietors. Word was sent to Mathur at Janmadar. He wrote back in reply, he knew something. He wrote back in reply that he would personally observe things soon and do what was proper. He asked them to let the Bhattacharya perform worship and other services in his own way and not to obstruct him till he came. He knew that they were a worldly consciousness and he had some spiritual understanding. They received the letter from Mathur and were anxiously waiting for him to come. They were busy talking among themselves. The Bhattacharya is sure to be dismissed this time. As soon as the Babu comes, he will expel him, giving offense to the gods. How long will they put up with it? And so on. That was their talk. According to, so from our level, how it appears. Mathur came to see the master's worship, his impression of it. He had a different impression. One day Mathur came suddenly at the time of worship, without anyone's knowledge, neither Thakur's nor officers. Entered the Kali temple and observed minutely the master's actions for a long time. But being filled with spiritual feelings, the master did not notice him at all. So the level of consciousness is different. Every day he used to merge himself in the presence of the mother at the time of worship, unconscious of the coming of anyone. This state was the first thing that Mathur noticed on entering the temple, that he is not aware of anything outside. He could also discern when later he saw his importunate boyish request to her. So child behaving to the mother, that also he saw next. That it was all born of a single-minded devotion to and love of the Divine Mother. So devotion has respect mixed with love and love itself. So he understood that it is the result of devotion and love. What else could he thought bring about the realization of the mother if such sincere devotion could not? So he understood that full realization comes by these steps only. So a lot of understanding has come due to association with Thakur, original some spiritual receptivity and different from all others. What else could bring about the realization if his heart became filled with an extraordinary bliss when he saw that streams of tears sometimes trickled down the Bhattacharya's eyes during worship. So he saw the feeling and that made him joyful. And that he was at other times motionless, destitute of consciousness of the external world and inattentive to surrounding objects. So that is the final result in Samadhi. Mathur felt that the holy temple was actually filled with an intense manifestation of palpable divine presence. Palpable means it could be touched almost. He had now the firm conviction that the Bhattacharya had really become blessed by having the grace of the Universal Mother. With his eyes filled with tears, and heart purified by devotion. Heart is purified by devotion. He then saluted over and over again the Divine Mother and her extraordinary worshipper from a distance so that not to disturb him, saying, "The installation of the Devi has answered its purpose at long last. It may be said that the Devi has truly been installed now. She is living now, and the real worship of the Mother has been performed." He returned home without telling the officers anything. The next day, the chief officer of the temple got from him the order, "Do not obstruct the Bhattacharya in his worship in whatever manner he might perform it." So, he went, did not discuss with them. They will not understand. He went back and sent the order. The master now he is telling the name and discussing, analyzing it philosophically. The master attained Ragatmika Bhakti through intense love of God, the result of that Bhakti. So this is called Ragatmika, devotion filled with love. Our love is the soul of that devotion, that is Ragatmika. On hearing of the series of events mentioned above, the reader who is well versed in the scripture, so scriptural evidence is being given, will easily understand that at this time there had come a great change in the master's mind. It passed beyond the prescribed limit of the devotion enjoined by the scriptures, Karma Kanda, Vaidhi Bhakti, and took a speedy course along the exalted path of pure devotional love. So devotion is our own mind, idea, but then it has resulted into the experience of love. But this change came in such a simple, natural way that even Sri Ramakrishna himself could not understand it clearly. So, seamless transit from lower to higher in his case, let alone others. How they can understand? There is not a step to be climbed. It is like a ramp going up. The only thing I understood was that, urged by his love for the Divine Mother, he could not but behave that way, as if he was forced to do so. So it is not a deliberate something, it is going from within. This is why we see him think sometimes. So when he is rationally in the outside world, when he is thinking, what is happening to me? Am I on the right track? So reason about something and experience of something is different. Now he's trying to analyze. He therefore eagerly said to the Divine Mother, but his mind, ashraya, everything, Guru was Mother only. So where he will ask, he does not have another Guru there. He therefore eagerly said to the Divine Mother, I don't know and don't understand, Mother, what these things are that are happening to me. Please make me do what I am to do. So understand, no understand, you should make me do what I have to do. Teach me what thou wantest me to learn and reveal thyself to me. So I must always have your experience. Continue always to hold me by the hand. So you should have a continuous guidance and control over me. He made his mind turn away from lust, gold, honor, fame, and all other powers and enjoyments of the world. So the subtler field reveals so many things, but he did not stay there. And said those words imploringly from the bottom of his heart to the Divine Mother. The Mother of the universe, on her part, held him by the hand, protected him under all circumstances, and fulfilled his prayer. Unasked, she brought him, whenever necessary, all those things and all those persons that were required for the growth and perfection of his life. So, this is a strange thing. The aspirant does not have to go in search of a guru. the Guru himself is coming to him, appointed by the mother. So he has solved everything humanly on the basis of eagerness. The Divine Lord has promised to his devotees through the Gita, to those of undivided minds who worship and always remain united with me, and who place their whole minds in me and do not think even of their food and movements necessary for life, I bring, even unasked, all the things they require. Gita, 9th chapter. अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना परिपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्. The more we study the life of the Master at this time, the more shall we be surprised and astounded to understand how literally that promise in the Gita was fulfilled in his life, the absolute ideal sadhak. It became necessary to prove clearly again the truth of that promise of the Divine Lord in this selfish modern age. So as I said, even now people ask foolish things. They have no idea that Sri Ramakrishna has proved this because it was told in Gita thousands of years back. So people may doubt it. But now in this age it was necessary and it is being shown. Which has modern age, which has lust for sex and silver as its only motive. So people know only Kama and Kanchan. That's all. Everything they do for this. Although sadhakas have been teaching men from age to age to give up all, to have all, that is, the sadhaka will not suffer from the lack of anything if he renounces everything for the Divine Lord. Weak-minded men, entangled in worldly objects, would not believe in the promise without seeing it fulfilled in the modern age again. So that was ancient time, they would say. Now it cannot happen. Now it has happened. Therefore, the Mother of the Universe enacted this wonderful play with the Master, who had a completely undivided mind, in order to show man the truth of that saying of the scripture. Listen to this, O man, with a pure heart and advance on the path of renunciation according to your capacity. So that is Saradananda Swamiji's final dictum. The body and the mind of incarnations only, the Master said, could contain the full onrush of Ragatmika Bhakti. So in our life, this will not come so intensely. We should not expect that it will come so much intensely. But same type will come and has to come to lesser degree of intensity. The Master used to say that when the powerful flood of divine moods comes into human life unexpectedly, it cannot be suppressed or concealed by thousands of efforts. That is not all. The gross inner body very often fails to contain that powerful onrush of divine emotions into the mind and is completely shattered in ordinary man. Many sadhakas meet with death that way. They get mukta and they drop the body. A fit body is necessary to contain. So here we are dealing with, though as a sadhak, as a man, but full divinity is being manifested. And that is the importance of this Thakur sadhana. That is why Mahapurush Maharaj told my Guruji, which sadhana shows that he was a man? Only seeing that he did sadhana, he should say he is a man. Which sadhana? Now see this. No man can do, no superman can do, no saint can do, only God can do. But this becomes an ideal, absolute model for man to follow. to up to his capacity. A fit body is necessary to contain the abounding surge of feelings born of perfect knowledge or perfect devotion. That is the same. Knowledge or devotion, the level of consciousness rises. And it becomes difficult for the body to sustain it. It is only the bodies of great souls known as incarnations of God that have up till now been seen always to bear its full force and continue to live in the world. Because their body will not drop, they will not go away, they live in the world. This is why the devotional scriptures describe them again and again as possessed of bodies consisting of pure sattva. So the body requires some tamagun, but so much preponderance of sattva, that is what the Vishuddha Urjita Sattva Sabha, that is how the incarnations are described in Bhakti scriptures. The Jnanis may say all are Brahman only. This is why the incarnation, they say, can bear the full impulse of spiritual feelings only because they come down to the world with bodies made of the element of pure sattva. So, this is required. Devoid of all contact with rajas or tamas. Now, as Thakur has said, some minimum is required to make the body, that much minimum. Even in spite of their having such bodies, they particularly, the incarnations treading the path of devotion. If he is treading the path of knowledge, a different type. But treading the path of devotion, that feelings are strong. Particularly incarnations treading the path of devotion are seen on many occasions to be afflicted and overwhelmed with the powerful stress of divine modes, even the incarnation. It is indubitable from the accounts we have received that the joints in the bodies of Lord Jesus and Sri Chaitanya relaxed and drops of blood like perspiration oozed out through every pore in their bodies owing to the powerful surge of spiritual feeling. So about two only we know, those who follow path of devotion, that is Jesus and Chaitanya. No doubt, these physical changes were felt to be extremely painful. Yet it was only through them that their bodies got adapted to contain those. So as far as physical is concerned, that is painful. But without that, they could not contain it. Others cannot contain at all. Incarnations can contain with that pain. That their bodies got adapted to contain those extraordinary mental surging. When afterwards the bearing of that impulse became easy, so when it becomes a habit again and again and natural for their bodies, those changes also, it was noticed, were not always seen in them as before. So during sadhana, when they are fulfilled, they become natural, then the symptoms are not there. The physical changes in the master due to the impulse of that devotion and consequent pain, such as the burning sensation in his body. This happened twice, thrice. When the Papa Purusha was burned, during his pang of separation after the first vision of the mother, and during the sadhana of the Madhura Bhava. So once more it will come. So in the beginning he had a vision that the Papa Purusha has gone out and burned. That time this sensation was there. Then during this period and during Madhura Bhava. From now on, is so Saradananda Swami could not describe it before, but now he is telling both of them. From now on, a series of extraordinary changes came over the Master's body because of the surge of devotion and love. We already made mention of the burning changes sensation in his body from the beginning of his sadhana. So in the Guru Bhav and Divya Bhav he has told about it. He had to, in Guru Bhav, Divya Bhav was written after that. He had to suffer on many occasions from its excess. Ordinary burning is there, but due to excess. The Master himself pointed out its cost to us on various occasions. At the time of performing Sandhya and worship, said the Master, I used to think, according to scriptural prescription, that the Papa Purusha, so this is what scriptures are talking. Inside us, there are some sanskaras, and the congealed form of the sanskara is Papa Purusha. Within had been burnt up. Who knew then that there was actually a Papa Purusha? So the scriptures have told it may be a figurative something. Who knew then that there was actually Papa Purusha within the body and that it could be actually burnt and destroyed? So everything is palpable, concrete in Thakur's life. A burning sensation came on the body from the beginning of the sadhana. That is the viral. I thought, what is this disease? Himself thought of it as disease. It increased by degrees and became unbearable. Various kinds of oils prescribed the physicians were used, but it could be by no means alleviated. We have been told about it during Bhairavi's description in the Guru. One day while I was sitting under the Panchavati, I saw that a jet black person with red eyes and a hideous appearance came reeling as if drunk out of this, showing his own body, and walked before me. I saw again another person, a placid man in ochre-colored dress with a trident in his hand, similarly come out from the body, vehemently attack the other and kill him. So palpably, the killing of Papa Purusha by the Punya Purusha has happened. The burning sensation in the body decreased for a short time after I had that vision. I suffered from that burning sensation continuously for 6 months before the Papa Purusha was burned up. For 6 months, this was there. And then we were told by the master that a similar sensation came on him again a short time after the burning up of the Papa Purusha. So a little gap. The master had then gone beyond the limits of the devotion enjoined by the scriptures and became engaged in the worship and other service of the Divine Mother with ragatmika devotion in the manner spoken of before. That burning sensation gradually increased so much that he could not find relief, even though he placed a wet towel on his head and kept his body immersed in the waters of the Ganga for 3 or 4 hours. His immersed the body in the Ganga and on the head he has kept a wet towel for 3 or 4 hours, then only gradually that is becoming less. We shall describe elsewhere the easy means by which the Brahmani, when she came later, describe elsewhere. What the Bengali says. Oh. You see, English has murder. I got a doubt, so I looked at it. Guruva is written first. Now I are put in this volume. Oh. Anyway, as it is in this volume, the translators have changed it. So normally we would have said, we have described elsewhere. Okay, we shall describe as far as this book is concerned. By which the Brahmani, when she came later, cured it and pointed out that the said sensation owed its origin to his longing for the full vision of the Divine Lord and his pang of separation from Him. The second time. We have read that. The master suffered again from that burning sensation in the body later at the time of practicing the Madhur Bhav, the sweet mood as of the spouse of God. Rida said, the master then suffered from a pain and a burning sensation similar to that felt by one when a pot full of live embers is placed within one's breast, inside. He suffered long from that sensation, which came on him from time to time. A few years after his sadhana came to an end, he became acquainted with Ram Kanai Ghoshal, a lawyer of Barasat, who was an advanced sadhaka of Shakti. He advised the master to put on his person an amulet encasing the mantra of his chosen ideal, so that the chosen ideal is near me. That feeling comes. That sensation came to an end when the amulet was put on. So different ways at different times. The Rani thought of worldly objects at the time of worship. The master punished her. We read all this in Guru Bhakti. Now I told you that in Sadhaka is trying to make a biography. Mathur went back to Jan Bazar and told the Rani of the extraordinary worship performed by the master. The devout Rani was delighted to hear of it. She used to come to the Dakshineshwar temple, listen to the songs sung by Bhattacharya, and had already grown affectionate towards him. This relation can be called affectionate because she was senior. On the occasion when the image of Govinda broke, she was astonished to know of his intelligence purified by devotion. That was devotion purified by heart purified by devotion. Now, intelligence purified by devotion. The special combination of words used by Swami Saradananda, we have to understand this. You see, intellect works on the data supplied by the senses. And when the data is rubbish, the reason also becomes rubbish. When the data comes from a purer level, the intelligence also becomes purer. If it follows that data, don't apply our low reasoning on that higher data. If the reasoning follows the higher data, then it becomes purified. This is actually the manan there. She was astonished to know of his intelligence purified by devotion. It did not therefore take her long to understand that it was possible for a heart like that of the Master to have the grace of the Universal Mother. But an event occurred shortly afterwards, which made it very likely that Rani and Mathur would waver in that faith. Too much extraordinary. One day, the Rani went to the temple to worship and to pay her obeisance to the Divine Mother. But as she was engaged in these services, she was eagerly thinking of the possible success or failure in a lawsuit regarding her worldly affairs, instead of being absorbed in her worship. The master was then sitting there and singing songs for her at her request. The master, who was in ecstasy, understood that state of her mind and taught her to abstain from worldly thoughts in the presence of the Divine Mother by striding her tender person, saying, that thought even here. The Rani, a spiritual aspirant, fit to have the grace of the Universal Mother, detected the weakness of her mind and became repentant. Her devotion to the Master increased a great deal on account of this event. We shall mention all these things in detail elsewhere. He has mentioned it in the Guru Bhakti. So far this volume is concerned, though reading from this line, for them it will be afterwards. We have read that already. With the development of devotion, the Master's external worship dropped off. His predicament at this time. So I seen that sometimes he used to worship, sometimes not. But afterwards he dropped down completely. Short while after this, the master's devotion and exaltation due to bliss increased so much by virtue of enjoying the Divine Mother's constant company that the performance of the daily and special occasional services of the goddess was by no means possible for him. The mind could not come to the karma level. Nitya and Naimittika. The master used to give an example of how, with advancement in the spiritual state, the actions enjoined by the scriptures drop off by themselves. We should read this tomorrow. Though little only is left in the chapter, better we read this tomorrow. Yes. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakastam Sarvadharma Swarupakah Acharyanam Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpana.